Welcome back, tribe. I am so excited to be doing a third video this month. I'm going to really push myself to do 3 videos each month going forward this year. Anyway, for this last video of the month, I kind of want to just do a little haul. It's not really a haul though. I mean, I guess it's a haul. Normally what I would like to do at the end of each month is do an unboxing slash book haul with you guys, because I do subscribe to the Abominable Book Club and the Nightworms subscription, and they are both 2 different companies. One is based in the UK, one is based here in America, who do horror books and little goodies and stuff like that. And I am going to show you the books that I got with the Abominable box, even though I did already open it. I'm not going to do a formal unboxing for that one this month because I was a little disappointed in that one this month, and you're about to see why. And the Nightworms one was shipped really late. I'm probably not even going to get it until the first week of February, so I may just hold off and do that unboxing with the February one at the end of February. So with that being said, I kind of just wanted to show you guys the books that I bought this month, or the books that I got in a subscription box this month, and also talk a little bit about movies. I know, I talk mainly about books on this channel, but I would like to talk to you guys a little bit about the horror movies and some generic non-horror things that I watched this month that I really enjoyed, and maybe you guys can tell me if you enjoyed them as well, if you've seen them. So let's start with the books, because I mean, why not? So let's go ahead and get the Abominable Book Club piece out of the way. So for those of you who don't know, and I will put like a logo or a picture that I have of what the boxes look like. The Abominable Book Club box is a horror novel subscription box based out of the UK. For me, being in America, Texas specifically, it roughly comes to about $55 per month. I know a lot of you are probably like, God dang, that's really expensive. There's a hair floating in front of my face. Go away. But usually, and I mean, honestly, this is the first month that I've ever been kind of disappointed in the selection, but I'm not disappointed in the box. It's just the selection of the new book. So, I mean, other than that, I've always had a wonderful experience with them. What they do is they give you usually either a novella, a magazine, or something of that nature. They also give you a new release of some sort, and new being like within a few months usually of the box, from what I've noticed. Could be wrong. They also give you a mystery used book that they acquire through different used bookstores around, I believe, London or the UK in general. And they wrap it up so each subscriber gets a different used book. And honestly, I'm really happy about the used book I got this month because it's so creepily fitting. So for starters, with the Abominable Book Club box this month, we have another edition of the Black Static magazine. Obviously this is a UK magazine. I don't know if it's actually over here in the States, but it's basically a magazine full of horror themed short stories. So, but it does also have some artwork in there. It's really gorgeous, but for the most part, as you can see, it is stories, short stories back to back. I really love stuff like this because it definitely still has a magazine type feel. So you can kind of just like lay it on the coffee table, or if you're weird, like I've noticed some people actually put magazines in their bathrooms. I mean, I myself am never really in there that long that I could sit there and read an entire short story while I'm in the bathroom. But hey, if that's your jam, go for it. But I've always loved the magazine selections. Usually you get either a Black Static magazine, or what's the other one? There's another one that they typically do for a magazine, or you get like a novella or something like that. And this is really thick. It's really good quality. It has really pretty artwork and prints and stuff like that in it. So we got that. For my used book, I ended up getting a book called Comes the Fury by John Saul. No, Comes the Blind Fury? Comes the Blind Fury by John Saul. Anyway, this is the book. And as you can see, it's definitely used. It's been beat up a little bit. But look at the back. One of our main people is named Michelle. I was like, was that on purpose? Was that a coinky dink? We don't know. But honestly, this book sounds pretty interesting. It's definitely an older book. I would say, when was this published? The 80s. 1980 was when it was copyrighted. So I'm excited. I like have a whole little collection going of all the used books that Abominable has sent me. So I am really excited to get to this at some point. Hopefully this year, if not next year. But the new release, the new release that they sent us this year is nothing but Blackened Teeth. Now, part of me is actually really excited that they sent the UK edition to me because this is the UK cover. And even though I love the American release cover better, the one that I already bought, A, I already have this book, and B, this book sucks. I'm sorry. If you liked it, that's perfectly okay. That you are entitled to your opinion. You are entitled to like the things that you like. But for me, this book sucked. So I will probably hold on to this just for the simple fact that it is an interesting cover. I like having the different types, you know, even though I feel like the one I purchased has a prettier cover. But I couldn't stand this book. So I'll probably hold on to it, maybe make it part of a giveaway in the future or something like that. But this is the only reason why I wasn't super ecstatic about the Abominable Book Club this month. But the rest of the stuff is wonderful. I get the full guts, so it usually comes with some kind of snack from the UK, some kind of edible something, and then it comes with a little goodie bag of coffee and hot chocolate and tea, and I'm a huge tea drinker, so I love it. And also it usually comes with either a pin or a sticker or some kind of little goodie, you know. So I mean, honestly, in my opinion, the $55 a month is worth it. I love the experience. You get bookmarks as well. This month is just a little off for me because I really didn't like that book, and I already have that book. But I mean, you're bound to have months that you're just kind of like with any subscription, and this is the first time that I'm just kind of like but I don't hate it by any means, and I still think it is definitely worth the price. Alright, and like I said, my Nightworms for January 2022 has not come in yet because they ended up having some kind of issues with shipping, which I've been noticing that is happening to a lot of people lately because of COVID, because of this, that, and the other. So no worries there. I had a Nightworm subscription for a few months last year, but finances got so ridiculously tight that it was kind of like pick Abominable or Nightworms, and I was having better luck at the time with Abominable, so I went with them. But right now, we're going to test the waters and see if I'm able to deal with both. So hopefully they get better as far as things that I particularly enjoy. Great company. They also do little goodies like coffee and stickers and stuff like that. So I'm excited. I'm excited to see what comes. I believe it's been shipped at this point. So I may actually have it by the time this video comes up. So, oh well. I'll probably unbox it next month along with the next month's Nightworms box. But anyway, I have desperately been trying to limit myself to only purchasing 3 books with my own money, which, okay, yes, the subscriptions are of my own money as well. They're not sent to me. But I've been really trying to limit myself to only purchasing 3 books outside of the subscriptions that I already have. So this month I actually ended up with 4, but that is because an author by the name of, well, initials SR, Murray on Instagram reached out to me, and he asked me if I'd be interested in reviewing his book, and of course. So he actually sent me the money to order this book. So I am excited, and honestly, it is less than 300 pages. So I am hoping that I can actually read through this before the month is out. I'm filming this on a Tuesday. This video will be up on Friday, which I believe is what? the 29th, the 30th, I don't know. I can't count. So I'm hoping that the next couple of days I'll be able to get through this book, which is called A Darling Obsession by, as I said, S.R. Murray. So let me read you the back. It's just a quick little blurb. It says, in 1899, an unspeakable crime was committed by a mob in the town of Guinevere Beach, Florida. 80 or so years later, someone reopens a long-closed hotel on the site of the crime. The city, now called Sandy Beach, has a history of violence. Some say it's a curse. But Detective Robert Justice, it's a great name for a detective, begins to see a pattern when he connects horrifying deeds to the hotel. His investigation uncovers not just murders that span decades, but the haunted source of the evil that visits Sandy Beach and its residents, leaving a trail of bodies and broken lives in its wake. So I am excited. Now, I honestly have no idea where this book is going to go. Is it going to be more of like a true crime situation? Is it going to have supernatural elements? I have no idea. But I'm very excited, very thankful to Mr. Murray. Thank you so much for giving me the money, basically sending this to me for free is basically what he did to be able to review it. I am super honored, and I hope to get you that review very quickly. So that's the first one. The next one that I had actually pre-ordered for this month, which you may have already seen up on my Instagram, is called Cold the Night, Fast the Wolves by Meg Long. So this is a book. I did end up getting the hardback. And I have to show you guys this because it's so fucking pretty. Look what's under the flap. Look at that. I don't know if you can see it with the light, but it's freaking beautiful. I love seeing that. Honestly, you guys, I've already read it. I've already read this. It's a little over 300 pages, I think. Yeah, it's like 350 something pages. I read this incredibly fast. I loved this, but I'm going to wait and review it in my reading recap on the first Friday of February. So be on the lookout for that. But if you're interested in more of a YA fantasy feel, if you love wolves and are obsessed with wolves like I am, then you will love this book. So good. So good. The next two I have not read yet, but I'm excited to get to. Now, believe it or not, I don't just read horror and fantasy. Every now and then I will read me some true crime or some books about veganism or animal rights. I'm not gonna get on a soapbox, I promise. I'm not gonna get preachy about it. That's just me personally. That's part of who I am. So I have been following the YouTube channel Earthling Ed for a long time now. And when I found out that Ed Winters, who is Earthling Ed, was coming out with his own book called This is Vegan Propaganda and Other Lies the Meat Industry Tells You, I had to get it. I had to order it, so I did. Now, for some reason, when I went on Amazon, it said that I had to pre-order it on the American site. Or for America, I had to pre-order it, which I don't understand, but okay. So I went on Book Depository and purchased this, and it shipped from the UK. So if you are into animal rights or veganism and you really want this book, but you live in America, go on Book Depository because you're going to get it way sooner. Because on Amazon, it said I was going to have to wait until April to get this book in America, and fuck that. I'm not doing that. So I have it. I'm super excited to sit down and read it at some point. I really want to read it soon. Very beautiful, very awesome. I love the cover. And that's just that. I'm not really going to go into it. I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory about what it's about. So there's that. And ironically enough, the last book, really the only horror novel this month that I chose to purchase for myself outside of the subscription box is Tender is the Flesh by Augustina Basterica? I don't know. You guys let me know how to say it because I always butcher everyone's names. This is actually a much smaller book than I thought. I have been seeing everyone rant and rave about this book for a very long time. Originally did not want to read this book because of my vegan animal rights loving side. And no, by the way, I'm actually not vegan right now. I'm vegetarian. I have not eaten meat in 8 years. but I've been vegetarian for most of that time because of my own issues. But originally I was not going to read Tender is the Flesh because it hit a little too close to home. It seemed a little too disturbing. There were quite a few people who told me there was definitely some body horror in this book, and body horror is not my favorite. But honestly, the more I tried to tell myself I wasn't going to read it, the more intrigued I became. So I'm gonna give it a shot. But yeah, those are the 4 books that I got for myself this month, and one was sent to me. Now let's dive into movies. I really want to talk to you guys about what I've watched this month. So let's start from the beginning. One of the first horror movies I watched this month was called Sun. It was over on Shudder. If I can find the movie trailer, I will post it somewhere up here. I believe it's a Shudder original, but don't quote me on that, really don't. I had a lot of people recommend this movie to me, told me that it was definitely something I would like, and honestly, I didn't like it, and I didn't really get it. Like, I got it, don't get me wrong, like, I understood, I was able to follow the storyline, things like that. It's just, it wasn't my cup of tea. It just wasn't my cup of tea. Like, there was a few people that were just ranting and raving about the acting, and I was just like, the acting wasn't that great. Like, don't get me wrong, it was not nearly as bad as a lot of horror movies are. Like, the acting was pretty decent, but I don't know. It just wasn't really my thing. So if it was your thing, great. But it really wasn't for me. Like I mentioned in my 2022, the year of horror movie for this month, I did rewatch The Shining. I did rewatch 30 Days of Night and things like that. Love those movies. They are both amazing. One movie that I watched for the first time this month was Scary Stories Told in the Dark. Sorry, Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark. That's a long ass title. I had not seen this movie before. I don't know why it took me this long to watch it. I believe it was up on Netflix. But wow, this movie was actually pretty damn good. I enjoyed it. There were some specific body horror scenes that I freaked out in. Like, I freaked out in. Like, I was watching that movie with my boyfriend and I almost threw up on him. If you know about the spot, I can't think about it too much or I get kind of sick. But anyway, other than that, like, honestly, it was a really good movie. I enjoyed it. So one movie that absolutely has nothing to do with horror at all that I watched for the first time this month was Enola Holmes. And the only reason I watched it was because I saw it up on, I think, Netflix or Hulu. I honestly can't remember which one it was. I need to start writing this shit down. But I saw that it had Henry Cavill in it. And I was like, ooh. And then it also has the girl who plays Eleven in Stranger Things. I'm going to figure out her name and put it up here because I don't want to be disrespectful. I just cannot remember her name while I'm filming. Because I don't write things down or take notes. I just film. Leave me be. Leave me be, okay? But anyway, I love her. I love Henry Cavill. I loved that movie. It was actually a kick-ass movie. I loved it. One of the movies that I saw in theater this month was, of course, Scream 5. I loved it. I've never been big into the Scream franchise. I'm just not a huge Ghostface fan, man. Like, literally the only other Scream I've seen was the first one. I did watch, what is her YouTube channel? Spooky Astronauts, right? Who I believe did like a breakdown, and I also watched Possessed by Horror's channel. I watch both of them all the time because they have some really good recommendations, and I watched both of them have like a little breakdown of all the different Screams, so I had a good idea of the other Scream movies going into Scream 5. So I mean, it's not called Scream 5, by the way, it's just called Scream, but it's technically Scream 5. But I really enjoyed it, man. I loved it. It was very predictable, but like Possessed by Horror said in one of her videos about the Scream franchise, all of those movies are very self-aware. They know how ridiculous they are, and they feed on that. And to me, it's just so humorous. It was glorious. I loved being able to laugh while also having jump scares. And honestly, even though it was very predictable and it kind of like told you who the killer was very early on, it like kept you questioning. It kept you guessing because it's like, no, it can't be that easy. There's no way. And then it was like, oh yeah, it was. Another movie that I watched for the first time this month on, I believe, no, actually it was on Netflix, was Hellfest. Talk about cheesy fucking franchises, man. I'm pretty sure there's a Hellfest too. If not, correct me, it's okay. But I actually really liked it. I thought it was fucking funny at times, even though it might not have meant to be. But I really enjoyed it. Sometimes I really just need a hack and slash movie. And if you're looking for just your generic hack and slash movie that's very predictable and you know where it's going, then you need to watch Hellfest, because I loved it. I loved the carnival feel. It honestly made me really want to find a carnival or spooky haunted house attraction. Unfortunately, they only seem to come out around Halloween. This needs to end. Like, the whole stereotype of we can only have haunted house attractions around October needs to stop. There needs to be at least one in Texas that I can go to that is open all year long. Please do this for me. I don't even know who I'm talking to, but you know who you are. So I did actually purchase a couple of movies, yes, horror movies, this month, and some of you are probably gonna either cringe or be like, ooh, I don't know yet. So the first collection, technically, that I bought was the Blu-ray copies of A Quiet Place 1 and 2. I love this. Honestly, I love the second one more than the first, but the first one needed to be the way it was to prepare us for the second one. I was super happy with both. I love the actors, the actresses. This is like a wonderful cast, wonderful storyline. It's very fresh as far as like aliens go. It's very unique. You know, it's an alien type movie, but it doesn't feel sci-fi. It feels straight up horror in like every element, which I'm a fan of. So yeah, definitely loved that. And the next one I bought, the only other one I bought this month, was Antlers. Okay, let's talk about Antlers for a minute. I went and saw Antlers when it came out in the theater. I did not make a review video about it because I wasn't sure how I felt about it at the time. After watching it a second time, I'm still a little unsure of how I feel about it, to be honest. Like, the reason I purchased it is because I am so happy and in love with the fact that we finally have a decent Wendigo creature feature horror movie. I needed this, you guys. I needed this. The legend of the Wendigo and the legend of skinwalkers, the legend of a lot of like Native American / indigenous monsters in folktales, those are my jam. All right. I have so much respect and love for indigenous folklore and myth and storytelling and history that it really made me happy and excited when this movie was announced. Now, with that being said, I do have a lot of points where I agree with Possessed by Horror's review. I don't mind that the situation is happening to a Caucasian family or population. Like, I don't mind that, but at the same time, there was so much opportunity to have a strong Native American cast, and like, there were so many opportunities that they could have done with this, and I just feel like a lot of that was absolutely missed. And part of me is kind of hoping for a sequel. I know, if they were gonna do it, they would have done it in the first one. But I kind of am needing a sequel for them to possibly redeem themselves, because like, I feel like this story and the movie itself was actually really fucking good. They just missed the mark with the legend itself. Like, okay, yeah, fine, this creature feature, okay, yeah, it's a predominantly Caucasian town in this area. All right, yeah, I can believe that a Wendigo spirit is, you know, attacking and killing and eating the white people. I can believe that. but there's only like a little blip of a scene where there is just one that I could take note of. There's only one Native American actor throughout this whole fucking movie, and he only gets like a little 10-minute scene where he's trying to explain the mythos of the Wendigo. And I just feel like so much about the legend and the lore is completely ignored and missed. Like, I really love what they did with the creature itself. It was spot on, in my opinion, visually of what I wanted it to look like. I think they did a great job creating this creature feature type situation. But I wanted more. You know, I wanted us to dive into, how does the Wendigo choose its hosts? Is it more like a demonic entity or a parasite or some combination of both? Where are we going with this? I really wanted there to be a stronger Native American cast that came in to kind of like teach the ignorant white people what was going on, because they had no fucking clue what was happening this whole time. They're just like, huh? Sitting there with their thumbs up their ass as usual. So I'm just kind of like, I really want there to be a sequel for this story to get somewhat of a redemption. Because even in this movie, there's a scene where our one Native American actor even asks if the family being affected by the Wendigo spirit is Native. And they say no. And he says, how can this be? I need us to build on that. I need us to go somewhere with that. Like, why is he so shocked that it's happening to a white family? Is this a curse that can only happen to indigenous people? I need to know these things. So I kind of want there to be a sequel where they dive into that a little more and have a much larger Native American cast. Because, like, what the fuck? Like, how can you make a movie about something that is so much a Native American legend and only have one Native American actor throughout the entire thing? I don't understand that. I don't like that. And I could definitely see why on Possessed by Horror's channel, why she was so upset by that. I got upset by that. But I did choose to purchase it, and I know y'all might hate my guts for that and call me a hypocrite. It's okay. I do feel like a hypocrite. But I did go ahead and purchase it just for the sheer fact that we may never, as like horror fans, we may never see even a remotely decent Wendigo movie again. And I wanted it for my collection. I'm not gonna lie. Capitalism won out. Materialism won out. You can bash me all you want for that shit. It's fine. I don't care. But I honestly would like to see a sequel to this. Where there's a little more of a redemption and there's a little more of a backstory. I want to dive into this legend. I want to go all the way. And honestly, I want to see that creature more, because they did some great things with that CGI and the props and the makeup and all the good stuff. So that's all I got, guys. I know I've been rambling and ranting and talking shit this whole video, but I'm really glad that if you made it this far, you made it this far. If you did make it this far, drop like a little black heart icon or something like that down in the comments so I know if you made it this far. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for being supportive. Definitely go follow me out on Instagram and Goodreads. I will link those down below, and I will see you guys back next week, right? Next Friday. So see you guys then.